Abe, and this is the very first time I've ever gone live on this channel. I'm having I gotta get it set up with my, whatchamacallit, connected with my StreamYard, but for now, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna be on here too long anyway. I don't plan to be too long. Too long. We'll put it that way. So I'm guessing we'll do a shout out to the replay crew. I added this to my Discord server, but I'm sure it went out. But, when I go live, I shut off my notifications, so it's not annoying the hell out of me when I go live. Anyways, I have a little story to tell. And I think it'll strike many of you quite well. Anyway, we're going to talk about, I was watching a channel earlier tonight, and that would obviously be Lisa V's. She's on her other channel, says she got a strike on her main channel. I'm sure she did. I have no doubt she didn't. Or she's on her backup channel. She didn't exactly, she said she had an email for it, so I don't know what kind of strike it was. I'm guessing copyright or a privacy strike. Could have been one of the other ones. I'm not sure which. She didn't specify that. Those are the kind of questions I would be asking. Most people are not that inquisitive. Not all. Don't take it for I'm not a 180 IQ. But, I watched Black Rose 21843. And she is so sure of herself, she gets ahead of herself. And what I mean by that is someone who comes from this watchdog group who is supposedly careful at doing research, she actually got stumped by an unlikely source. News Now Preston Nashville, who surprisingly did his homework. Because he did. Now, I'm not going to go into the details about that, but let's just say they were looking for a public record. Well, for starters, I will tell you this. When it comes to databases for arrests and court records and all that kind of stuff, they're not instant. It takes time for that stuff to get entered and uploaded, put into the system. And I've seen it take upwards of 2 to 3 weeks before stuff gets put in. There's a lot of key factors in play there. A lot of things kind of depend. It's not volume, personnel, proofing information, hand keying it in there. It's not necessarily automatic. Takes a lot of manpower to do that. Most governments work on skeleton crews these days. City, county, local governments. They tend not to have the resources and the manpower of, say, state and federal. That being said, Black Rose there got on her jump to conclusions mat, and she automatically assumed, well, she didn't just assume, she outright said, but she assumed that information was not true because she was unable to locate it. Others had trouble too. However, one person did not. And when that person presented the facts, as they may be, it sounded to me like she got to eat a little bit of crow tonight. This is the one that runs around calling everybody liars. Well, he or she who laughs last laughs loudest. In this case, I would say she lost. And kind of try to brush it under the rug but I will say this, although Lisa did block me on this channel tonight, on her channel, she didn't like the fact that I think that I called her out, explaining to her again why I vacated her channels. In other words, I don't get on her panels anymore. and I stay out of the chat. And I went ahead and screenshotted what I put in her chat before it went poof and disappeared. And she knows this. One of her mods, who shall remain nameless, sent me a screenshot of just that. Thank you, John or Jane Doe. I appreciate you. Now, what else could I say there? To that, other than no, it's the problem is again, let me ask you all a question. Who is the keeper of truth? There's a keeper of the flame, right? A custodian actually means keeper of the keys. In today's world, we would attribute that to someone who's like a janitor. Anyways, which is something that that Bedtime Clown and them were saying that I was. I was never a janitor. They can't figure it out, tough nuggets. Go do better homework. Do you think when I was going to college, or any of you went to high school and or college, trade school, whatever it may be, did the instructors and professors, teachers just give you the answers after they presented you with the questions? My guess is probably not. They more than likely referred you to resources that you could go to find said answers. And then said, you're on your own from here. If you can't figure that out, usually you end up winding to be referred to go get a tutor or something. Not just answer.com. Buyer beware of that. I saw people get lower grades in college for using justanswer.com and paying for answers, which were incorrect. Or they may have been correct, but the information was obsolete, outdated. And that's not the answer that we would have been taught and are looking for. Now, what I'm driving at here is this. When someone fires up their channel, does a live stream like this, presents to you a set of what we say artifacts, what they consider to be evidence. Well, that's all fine and dandy. But remember, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. So someone presents to you, and it never goes this way, of course, but usually it starts off with someone accusing someone of something, and it goes on for a very extended period of time. Very much heated panels, disputed later, to no avail. Just just continuously infinite. Just like outer spaces, because it's ever so expanding itself. So they present to you biases. That's what they present to you. I am prejudiced against GR8. That's just using this as an example. And she's a known liar. Okay, there's another bias. And therefore, anything she says is a lie. Okay. And that's it. That's usually it. It's period. It's like, that's a bit vague. I was looking for a little bit more there. And we just sort of got a big nothing burger there. It's like you go to the best burger restaurant in town, and you get this squashed flat patty thing, and some squashed flattened bread, and nothing on it, and three packets of ketchup. That's pretty sad, isn't it? Unless it's a damn good tasting burger. I'm just saying. So, I guess that when someone says stuff like that, and by the way, who wants a wrench? When someone makes comments like that, It's up to you to first process it, decode it, and then come back, to be inquisitive enough to say, can you be a little bit more specific than that? Can you give us just a little bit more detail? Anything at all? Anything? No? Nothing? Damn. Just damn. So in this particular instance is one of a bajillion. Don't get me wrong. It's Black Rose has it in for people like Stabby Shade. She has it in for people like her and Swedish Sugar have definitely had their ways. But the problem that Black Rose got into in this particular case is because of her biases towards GR8. Then she didn't. She automatically just jumped to conclusions, Matt, on that one. Literally dragged that Matt out and was jumped to conclusions right off the bat. She looked it up on a computer, did it wrong, or for whatever reason it did not return, probably because she punched in something wrong, and because she's such an expert at FOIA. Her words, not mine. And just missed it. So for over a week, she's chanting and screaming, haha, got one up on you. This never happened. That never was. You're wrong. So then, when she got proven wrong, she didn't have much to say. Especially because she said a lot of shit about him. That's Preston, who's now Preston Asheville. And so on and so forth. So, that's the problem that many people out here get themselves into. They let their emotions, their feelings towards somebody else, cloud their judgment, and then they come out and they make a fool out of themselves because they get proven wrong. And they're so into themselves they can't admit that, oops-a-daisy, messed that one up, got that one wrong. But I'm in their own definition of, they'll call anyone a liar. And a liar is not somebody who misspeaks about something, especially if someone catches that, and if they're right, of course, corrects that. Now, this Lucifer person who I got on my community tab on my main channel there tonight trying to make the argument that well, you do lie because you do care what people say about you, because you comment about it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I guess in a sense you could argue that said person, which in this case would be me, right? The object of the exercise, cares enough to correct or put a stop misinformation being further spread. Being presented, first off, is where you really want to squash it, or try to anyway. And secondly, if it's being spread around like a wildfire. So, I would say in that you could argue the point of that person is trying to stop other people from spreading shit around. It's too late, man, and I've got to set all that up on my laptop. I might do one, but if I do a panel, it's going to be on my main channel. I actually tried to set this up as a panel tonight, but my StreamYard's not connecting to it, so now I have to go on my laptop and try to figure out why. So, anyway, I guess you'll be the first to get a wrench. Actually, you are. Let me not time you out and give you a wrench. There you go. See, I told you. I was going live on my channel tonight. In that particular case, so, okay, let me get back to it. So, all right, be good. See you later. Thanks for dropping in. So, again, when when someone's trying to trying to stop that from going on, or at least put out the accurate information about themselves or somebody else, whatever's being said. Doesn't even have to be a person. I'll give you a very open example, a very easy open example of this. Don't even involve people. You're at a job site. You catch a coworker doing something, trying to cookie cut a corner on a safety protocol, and that failure to adhere to that safety protocol could result in serious injury or death, even minor injury. That's pretty serious. So, and you care enough to try to stop that person, that coworker, from doing that, and then start the process over again, or at least whatever point they're at, the right way, which is the safer way, as it is deemed. In that regard, you can say that person cares enough about, well, sure, their job to make sure it's done right, but above all, hopefully the safety of themselves and their coworkers, and even the public, anyone around them. Construction workers, good example. People that work on the highway, that stepping outside of that orange barricade could be life or death, even inside if someone goes crashing through. But in a much simpler, terms, as YouTube drama goes, when you hear somebody spreading a falsehood, misinformation about you or somebody else, and then you come on and you try to correct the record, I would say that's not necessary. I would not just deem that as a defense mechanism, as this Lucifer had tried to throw at me. Rather, I would say you're just simply trying to correct the record, get it on point. And in my case tonight, of course, Lisa V there blocked this channel. Apparently she didn't want it getting out. I found an alternate means, however, to get that message communicated, to get it across to her audience. And I did just that. It worked great. It was awesome. So there you go. Yeah, it's people. There's a difference between just trolling, fucking around with somebody, pardon my French, or don't. I'd rather you not. And putting out slanderous, misleading, false information about somebody. No matter how big or small it be, because that's your reputation on the line there. People used to call me a liar all the flipping time, all the time. Now it's only a few people that do it. But the people that would call me a liar, hey, what's going on, darling? Welcome to my other channel, could never provide a single example of it. Now, what they tried their damnedest to try to point out perhaps some topic, some key topic I was trying to hit on, or debate we were having, and people were gaslighting. COVIDs is a perfect example channel of that. When you got 7 or 8 people on a panel, and they're all going at you at the same time, and then they throw questions at you when you're trying to respond to one of them, and then they grab a clip and say, oh, well, here I asked you so and so, or I asked you this question, and you answered it yes, or you answered it no. When the reality is, you were actually talking to someone else. That's all just part of gaslighting and dogpiling. We know. It's the oldest trick in the book. Now tonight, I actually had a little bit of fun. I could clip her some more, and I might. We'll see. But that Black Rose 21843 made a comment. She said her mom used to tell her that if someone's talking about you, they've got nothing better to do with their time. Something to that effect. Not verbatim, but basically is what she said. I clipped it. Now, pause it. go back and look at what her channel and what she is all about. That's all she does is talk shit about people. Then when they fire back, she doesn't like it, and she looks for someone to lean on, to white knight with. That's what she does. Now, you're going to say, well, Abe, what are you basing this on? And was that you and was it Lee Dye's channel earlier? See, I used her channel earlier on tonight as a little kind of a tool. I was watching both channels. I seen them both going live. Well, Lisa was live first. I'll give her that. And then I'm like, well, wait a second. Lisa blocked me in her chat. She's replaying her channel, her stream, with her live chat. What's a perfect opportunity than to get in her live chat and say everything I said that she blocked and hid on her channel? Now it's going to be on her screen for a while, and it was. I thought that was great. So that worked in my favor. Lisa didn't make a single comment about what I had typed in that chat. Not one. Now I'll let her speak to that if she wants to, but I seriously doubt she will. But okay, so going back to Black Rose 21843. Remember, this is providing commentary, not this isn't stalkerish or stalkery or whatever that buzzword is that people were starting to use spread around. You know how it is out here. Right now in the Discord servers, the big buzzword is moops. And I don't know exactly where they came up with that one. Let my imagination run wild and say South Park Band. Anyway, neither here nor there. So, what could I possibly base my statement on that Black Rose looks for people to protect her when she decides to go at somebody? I've given those, and I'll give them again. Well, we could start her off with Hillbilly Man and Huckleberry, right? She what I call revenge friended them. She did do that, and that was to go at myself. She was friendly with Lady Di, and then she turned on her. And I don't really recollect what started her up between those two. I really don't recall. I don't remember. I'll admit that. I don't know what some kind of beef went down between the two of them that, as far as I know, did involve me, and that was it. Whereas Black Rose, when her and Flying Monkey, rest in peace, when they had a fallout, it indirectly involved me in that it was her saying that Flying Monkey wanted nothing to do with Lisa B's channel, didn't want to be on it. When people that she didn't like were on it, that Flying Monkey did not mention, make note of. Flying Monkey, on the other hand, specifically said me. She didn't add in ASMR or corrosive commentary, aka Public Cultus, who loves it when I talk about him. So there is that. So she became, her and Hillbilly Man, and they were going channel surfing, finding every which channel that I hung out on, much the same as others had done the year or so prior, spreading lies about me, including up to calling me a PDF file. That did happen. Yes, it did. Now, then she found Rada. Rada is somebody that about 2 months or so into the Abe and Tonic season 1, 2, and 3 back in good old 24. Decided he wanted a piece of the pie too, and that's when he decided to interject himself in the mix. But there's more. There's more to this story than meets the eye, and what it stems from is the fact that that year is when I started my server. Rada was a admin in the Asylum server, and People were, my server was really starting to build up pretty big in a very short amount of time. So he got overzealous, didn't like that, and there you go. That was part of it. I got fed up with him server muting and kicking me, much the same as Harry Balls did on more than one server. I don't give a shit what he says to anybody out there. He did kick me from more than one server more than one time. In my view of it, that's called rage kicking. He got angry and he kicked me out. Didn't like what I had to say to him in return. And he had the power to do it, so he did it. Banks was doing it on the Temple of the Fox server, for example. And not just there either. Others too. Lots of people was doing it. Hello, demons. How you doing? Welcome to the show. So does that start to piece together here? If we look into the lore of Honest Abe, which is me, and all these people. Now, back then, it is true that people were talking a lot of mad shit about me. And they did it for some time, and they did it in servers that they knew that I was not in. I wasn't a preview to any of that information. None of it. None whatsoever. Only through word of mouth. And very few receipts being presented to me, usually in the form of memes. I guarantee y'all, I don't even have a half, not even a half of the receipts, of said memes that people have made about me back in the day. People often will use the same old ones over and over and over again when I'm getting into a kind of a heated, battle, if you will, with them in chat, and they get angry and they get frustrated, and then that's when they start meme dumping, or AKA shit posting. There it is. Good morning. How you doing? Obviously you're somebody who follows my other channels. Well, I have vowed that when I do a panel, which I may do tonight, we'll see, somebody has to come up and do my monologue for me. So now I'm not going to do my monologue. Somebody has to come up. I'm going to give, and then it has to last. Here's the thing. It has to last a minimum of 13 minutes. What a perfect unlucky number. So that's how we're going to do it. If nobody does, then there will be no panel. So whoever that person is the one who's going to get up on the panel and nobody else until they finish my monologue. And that's going to be the name of the game. Don't like it? Tough nuggets. Anyways, so there is what I call my evidence. And you're probably, I could break this down to, well, it was this panel on this date and blah, 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 but I'm just not going to. I don't really care about it enough to do that. You see? I don't. Now, let's talk for just a second here about who said what about who. Now, I do believe, and once again, I give credit where credit's due, whether I want to or not. And this, I really don't care. But I think it was Black Rose 21843 that actually made an accurate statement in, I believe it was the chatter. It was either chatter on panel, I don't remember which, and I think it was her. And if it wasn't her, then I take that back. Whoever it was who had said that, they had said, well, wait, we first heard it about GR8, that is, from Lisa herself. In other words, she was the first one to put that info out there. And the answer is, that is very accurate. That's very true. Just like how I sat there for over a week watching her chanting that what GR8 said, about her mom in this case, was untrue. And I actually knew it was true. Why? How did I know this? Because I found the information myself over a week ago. So there is that. Now, if you were a detective, might attribute to a possible MO, modus operandi. Why would GR8's mom go around saying that she had died? We do know that she was in the I know that she was in the hospital. That is actually true. She was in the ICU, intensive care unit. That is also true. Then she got admitted as a regular patient for recovery. That is also true. But I had lost track of her at some point in there when she was in the ICU, and I wasn't getting any information about what was going on with her, which is fine. But if you do recollect, after Lisa B herself had said that Lisa or that GR8 had died, then Rick Krute started saying it too. Then sometime later, and I became aware of this later, actually in the Vegas Valley abandoned server. And so I might as well call it Lucy Diamond 2.0, I guess. I don't know. It's basically what it is. So that GR8 had gone live and was on Lady Diana's panel, or on the phone on her. She's putting her on the phone, and we could hear the audio of her talking through her stream. That is true. That is equally as true. But that didn't come along until much later. I would say probably over a month, perhaps it was like a month and a half later, after Lisa and Rick had said that she had died. That is the facts. I might not have the timeline totally. I have it in sequential order of how it went down. I just probably don't have the exact. Yeah, it could have been a month. It could have been less than a month. It could have been a little bit more than a month. I'm not exactly sure. And good morning, one and all. Now, with as far as the possible MO, and no one brought this up. And if Lisa would have actually not blocked me in chat, but it is what it is, I would have actually brought this to everyone's attention. Now, we all know Black Rose is an expert at everything when it comes to this stuff. And I'll guarantee you, this is not something that actually processed through that brain of hers, that noggin up there. I'll bet you Black Rose didn't think anything about the fact that, well, not fact, but possibility of why would somebody's mom say that about their own next of kin? Why would you say that? What would you say about your own daughter? Well, I would theorize that one such possibility could be the fact that because it is confirmed that her mom was in fact jailed, booked and charged on some serious crimes, felony level, that she would have said that to people in her ad, according to GR8, who I actually got up on ER Video's panel last night and was able to question her just a little bit, that maybe, just maybe, her mom did that, and as a way to get back at her daughter for doing that to her, it was done in revenge. 'Twas a crime of passion, like the game of Clue. Now that would make sense if her mom has a history of some sort of mental instability, or some kind of a condition, illness, whatever it may be. I don't know that to be true or untrue, but you could also attribute that as well, if it be true. Not knowing it be true, and knowing the fact that she had her mom arrested, well, then one could attribute to say, hey, maybe her mom was a little, I don't know, upset and thought, well, I know my daughter has an address contact list. whether it's online or it's in a book or however it is, she got access to it and started making phone calls. That would actually make sense. But that is a theory. That's not a fact. Because I'm not like the rest of these fine, happy, shiny people out here. I don't get on here and toss out my theory as fact like they do. That's not me. I present it as as a theory. It's something we don't know for sure. I just threw that out there. Is a possible MO. Anyway, I haven't really spoken a lot to this because I've been sort of sitting in the back studying it. I haven't been getting on panels talking shit for 15 hours straight and trying to clout chase on it, is in my view of people like Black Rose 21843. And not just her, but others also. I love it when people... Now, this is another thing that was said about me last night, and that was by Lisa in particular, saying, well, there's Abe, and I love it when people do this. There's Abe trying... Is that you, Prime? There's Abe trying to... he knew he wanted a piece of this action. There he is throwing himself in the mix in this all over again. Yep, tisk, tisk, tisk. Okay. And then going on to say, well, what business does this guy have on her panel anyway? I'm sorry, his panel anyway. I'm not trying to change ER as sex. Well, first of all, who the fuck are you or anyone else to tell me what channels I can and cannot get on? And the answer is, you're just not. You're not. Is this therapeutic for you? Anyways, I guess so. You might as well just hit him with a timeout, or I'll do it. Hang on. I'll take care of that. All right. Catch in 5. Now, that being said, it's, again, you got to think outside the box on a lot of this shit. You really do. Now, one thing Black Rose had said also. Sorry about that. Let me back up the bus there. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, there we go. That's better. One thing that Black Rose had said about me, I did it again. Beep, beep, beep. Black Rose 21843 said that about me that was completely wrong and inaccurate, and I was waiting for a comeback, and all I got was her dropping off the panel, was this. And this is the whole reason I even got up on the panel to begin with. Not that I need anyone's explicit permission to do so. This isn't like getting a permission slip to go on a class field trip. This isn't like having a hall pass or a tardy pass. This is called freaking video social media with drama in the mix. That's all this shit is. But it's not that way for all of us. I mean, there's pro streamers out there, what I call the social media heavyweights, the champions, the 1%ers that actually make a living off of doing this kind of, off of doing podcasts and things like that. But this definitely does not fit the bill. And I openly admit that. This is just me firing up, talking on a channel, rehashing over the stuff and offering my analysis of it, my take. So, anyways, right. Black Rose had the audacity to, and I love it. This is where they get caught up. So her name is Lady Di 49 2.0, something to that effect. She's got two main channels, 1.0 and 2.0. She's been around a while. She's been around the block a while. But I'm going to say so, as has others. But I would say this: this is a hardcore life value lesson that I learned from a very unlikely suspect, we'll call them. And when you start lumping people in the same in the same boat, when you start seeing 2 as 1 and 1 as 2, then you can get yourself in a hell of a bind. And in this case, what she likes to do of copycatting other people who can always compared myself to her, as in Lady Di 49, Diana 1.0 or 2.0. That's what it is. That's what it is. She got caught up in it, and I went up there on the panel on ERRs to correct her, to set the record straight, because I can't speak to her experiences, that being that of Black Roses, on Lady Diana. I can never. It's my dyslexia. I have a little bit of dyslexia. Lady Di 49 Diana 1.0 or 2.0. There, I got it right that time. I can't speak to that. Only she can speak to that. But I can speak to this. I have panels where Black Rose has been on. Maybe she forgot about this. And I just happened to review some of those. Just, look at them on the they're all private. From as far back as shortly after she first got on this platform. And what I found was this. There were numerous occasions where not only was Black Rose 21843 let up on the panel, including Bedtime Clown, who keeps spreading lies that were debunked over 3 years ago, but because he just keeps repeating and saying it over and over and over again, with what he calls, quote unquote, maybe receipts, must make it true. I think not. Now, pause it. There's Black Rose 21843, and again, God rest her soul, Flying Monkey 1, and even Lisa B, CMTSU, which is what she was at the time, on my panel together at the same time. Black Rose she didn't just insinuate, she outright stated that I dropped her. I believe, I don't know if she said muted her microphone and dropped her, or kicked her off my channel or panel and blocked her, or any of that. I can attest that Black Rose 21843, neither her nor Lisa B 2.0, which was, I think, the channel that came after the CMTSU one, or any channel that she's had between now and then. Oops. Okay. Anyways. Oh, no. I got sidetracked there. None of them have ever been blocked of any of my channels. None of them. Not one of them. And in fact, a review of said live streams from like 2 to 3 years ago, when she first emerged as Black Rose 21843 from Sunshine and Flowers off of Huckleberry 3224's channel. Finally got that one right. Is this? I specifically enabled her complete freedom of movement on my channel. What I mean by movement is the ability to speak freely as much as she liked. I never did I interrupt her, did I go over her, or did I kick her or mess with her microphone. These are all tactics that she, however, deployed on her channel with me. Now that is true. Yes, she fucking did. And she didn't deny any of that. Now, she all but said, well, okay, so I said something about Abe on Lisa B's backup channel tonight. LISS Sam A Adam B-Boy double E Edward. Space before B-Boy double E Edward. That's the name of her channel. So I could sit here and call her a liar for all the shit she said about me last night, which was totally inaccurate. And I decided to call her bluff. I says, listen, if you want to press this issue with me, that's cool. All I got to do is click over to that other channel and make those videos public. And I will share the links to them on my main channel, which is not this one. Not a problem. I will be glad. Sharing means caring. I will be glad to provide. We got you. We got your 6. I didn't hear her say anything else about it. I haven't so far. But that is a crock of bullshit. And she damn well knows it. I can't speak to what Lady Di 49 Diana 1.0 or 2.0 has done when she's come on her channel. I can't remember the last time she got on her channel. Much the same as Hillbilly Man, which is the guy's actual hashtag. I don't know. I really don't know or really care what he ever said about me as far as me attacking him. That's not how that went down. Instead, he went along with some bullshit that Rick Crude and later Blue Eyes 4303, which is her hashtag, were saying about me. Outright slanderous things that if somebody bought into as being truthful, which of course it wasn't, and they figured out where you actually lived or worked, could potentially put you in a can of worms. You could potentially be a target of somebody if they believed what was being said about you was true. There you go. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to tell you something else. I heard somebody, and we'll just leave nameless for now, and probably ever. You guys, if you were there, you saw it. The people that were chanting that Vegas VIPs VIP was going out filming underage kids in public on the Vegas Strip. That is absolutely false and slanderous. It's false in that he did not deliberately go out in public to do just that. If that said be true, then you would say the same for any of these mega streamers that go live almost every night on the Vegas Strip. You would say the same for every stationary security camera, and they're all over the damn place, at every casino, bar, restaurant, any of that along the square. The Strip. It's a busy, busy place. And when you go out in public, anywhere, especially in a busy area, and you just start filming all the activity in the public, it's bound to happen. You're going to stumble across somebody who is under the age of 18 that's going to get in your camera shot. And there's just no way to avoid it. You can pan away or, point the camera back at you to get it off of them, make sure they're not really in it. You can do whatever you want to do, but you ultimately did get them in your shot, but it was unintentional. Now, you can go back later and blur out faces and all that kind of stuff. Sure you can. There is a tool available to you in the YouTube studio to do just that. The only problem is if you're streaming activity live, like people tend to do, because people like to see activity live, it's bound to happen. It is. When you go out in public and you video, you're going to encounter people of all ages, of all sizes, of all kinds. And there's no way to avoid that. It's called being in public. Now, there's a difference between deliberately going out of your way to target certain people. That's different. Even in public. That's very different. Just like you could say, well, this person was stalking me because I was in their camera shot once or twice. Well, what was going on to lead into that? Was this someone just doing rando, what they call B-roll footage of the area, and just you happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and get in someone's shot? That happens with the mainstream media also, whether it's local or regional or national news. That's why the national news often tries to blur out the background as people could be walking by. People often don't want to be in camera, and they don't want to have to worry about some kind of civil litigation later of someone suing, saying, "Hey, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I'm going to tell you a little secret." Remember the show Cops? That show caught a lot of heat much later on, and that show first aired, I believe it made its debut in 1988 or 89, when I was very little myself. What happened is this. Arrestees, several of them, came forward all that many years later and said, "You know something? I was saying they were arrested. Let's say they were arrested for cocaine possession, and a field kit test, substance turned blue, and they were arrested because the police used that as probable cause." Those kits specifically say, as a warning to those officers that have them and those kits in their cars, that not to use the results of those tests to establish said PC or probable cause to effect arrests. That's why it has to go off for lab testing. So I remember reading this article of this guy who was like 20-something years old at the time, who was arrested for just that. And later, it came out that wasn't the case. The substance tested negative in a state laboratory. Meanwhile, their face imagery of them is getting blasted all across this TV show called Cops, and everyone thinks that they're a junkie, which is, in turn, if found out, can certainly determine whether you get that job or not, no matter how qualified or how well you scored on the interview process. It's true. It's very true. And I remember him reading about him saying that he was pressured into signing a waiver not to blur his face out by the arresting officer or deputy that he got arrested by, pressuring him to sign the form, or they were going to tack additional charges on them. That, my friends, falls in the line of, I believe, blackmail. And there was other people that came forward saying the same thing. Do I doubt this person's story? Not really. Do I think it's far-fetched? No, I don't. No, I don't. Anyways, another question that was raised tonight was, how could G.R.8's mom face charges of adult abuse if the person that she was the said victim in this case versus the accused are both considered technically elderly or people that are like over 60? I know the answer to that question. I already knew it a while ago. She doesn't, I don't think anybody else did. I already know the answer, and I'm not gonna provide it here. I want to see that. I want to see if they can come up with the answer to that question. If you think about that, how could that be possible? And it's unfortunate that it does happen. Listen, there are cop cam videos out there of murder suspects getting picked up well into their 80s. Why? Because forensic DNA wasn't quite around in the 1970s or the 80s or the 90s. Probably why so many old serial killers never were captured, never caught, if they're even still alive today. Even if they're not alive, you can still build a case against someone who's not, and come up with enough evidence to say either we've confirmed through DNA this person is the one who did it, or not. There was a case in, I believe, Florida, where a deputy had killed a couple people and then while he was on the job, and then it went out that there was a serial killer operating in the area, and it wound up being him. Now, that cop had died some years prior to that revelation coming out. Revelation. They were able to finally link DNA evidence from him to the actual crime scene. So I guess you could say, in a small sense, justice was served in that they figured out who the killer was, which would provide some sense of closure to the surviving family members of the said victims. But obviously, the killer will never be brought to justice because they're no longer living. You don't see tombstones getting handcuffed, cuffed and stuffed and booked. Sorry. It's just not a thing. Corpses don't get thrown into corrections. They're not exactly going to face the death penalty because it's beyond that. So it's just what it is. Anyway, let's see here. There's your true crime. The BTK killer, bind, torture, kill, wasn't he operating in Kansas and around there? That guy probably never would have got caught if he wouldn't have started taunting the police about 20 years ago. I believe he was caught because they traced one of the letters that he sent to the police that many years later, where he was letting them know he was still alive and well and whatever as he said to them, to basically try to poke the bear, saying, "Haha, got away with this." He got a little complacent in that one because they traced it back to a computer, I believe at a church that he was volunteering at. And it was found his user ID as being logged into the desktop on that IP. Then they found out who his daughter was, got a DNA swap from her with a warrant, and they matched it with his. And the FBI swarmed in and arrested him. That's exactly what happened. So, anyways, my point being is that I guess it's, just because people say shit online does not make it true. We all know that. And there is absolutely a lot of select rage that goes on out there. For example, I didn't see any real rage back when ·RickRude declared Glenn Lamebright dead after he ran him off of YouTube. He bullied him off this platform. Then he later declared him no longer living, and he still does to this day. Well, I have got no evidence to support that be true. It's true not everyone has an obit, but there's other ways of trying to figure out if someone's still on the planet or not. And as far as Glenn is concerned, I've got nothing to show for that. So, I've talked about why I theorize things in that instance transpired, but the only reason this stuff becomes so relevant is because people make it that way, right? Now, is that to say, what she did, or Lady Di did, if in fact they did it as a gotcha with ·RickRude, as I theorized. I don't know that to be true because I'm not them. Don't know, but what I do know is it didn't start there. It started with somebody else, Jerry's mom. And I also know about 4 months from now, no one's going to give a shit about any of this stuff, and there will be something else, some other big story, big to-do, which will be completely wipe off the topic of this. Now, I also theorized Lisa B is probably upset that that this drama didn't and isn't unfolding on her channel except for what she's covering. Now, again, that didn't come from her, that came from me. And that's just my opinion. See? I'm bold enough to come on here and tell y'all what's an opinion. I don't know that to be true. Of course I don't. But what I do know is the chain of events that transpired. I don't have the exact times, There's the 1 hour mark. I have what has been presented, which is information is often fragmented online, and you got to take it with a grain of salt. And take that grain of salt. And the reason is because you got to consider the sources. When people put stuff out, I mean, I get it. It's entertaining. It's entertaining. It's a reason to kick your live or your channel up, fire that thing up and go live. You bet. You bet. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I didn't see this kind of rage towards Rick when he declared him, Glenn ·ᵉᵇᵃ, or Patriot Defense, another guy who's been around the block for a while, that just a couple of years ago decided to make himself scarce and vanish off of YouTube for a couple of weeks. Oh no, I'm sorry, it was like about a month. And it was within 72 hours, it was Rick Rude and this guy known as ·่ᵸ who had declared him already dead. And that is true. Lisa B even recalled that when there was some sock account or whoever had mentioned that in her chat. I was pretty stunned, and that wasn't me who did that. Was it or wasn't it me? But my point is that, yes, it is true. The ·่ᵸ guy faked his own death, being an auto accident, and that lasted for all of 3 days. Others, Lanely Lang, faked Storm Hunter's death. And the only difference there is, unlike all the other cases where she actually ran a scam and got over $1,600 in the mix off of faking the guy's death. Many people don't even know who those two are. It's been a while. It's been a minute since all that was going down. But I sure as hell do. Actually, it started in Discord and then spread its way over to YouTube. And it was on 10th Man's panel, on Teresa Richard, who started calling her out for it. That clip is still there, and 10th Man himself made the entire 4-hour stream public again. And I actually got to watch it once again. So, anyways, so there's a lot of select rage out here. If what I said is true, that it was done as a way to get back at Rick for the shit he's pulled with them two, meaning GR8 and Lady Di, well then I would say I completely get it. I get why you did that. And then, that's not, so then of course then you're going to have your Black Roses and your Lisa B's and God knows who else saying, oh, there he is. He's sympathizing. He's a sympathizer for them and what they did. Well, I don't exactly know the full context of the whole story. I know a little bit more than most. I will say that. But as far as all the nitty-gritty details, I don't know them. I don't get on here and proclaim to know them. What I do know is this. Rick has done some fucked up foul shit to both of those two women. And I could easily see why would they have done something like this. And it's not that they did it. They did it, but in that saying, well, her character had been killed off. But in that simply saying, as a way to get back at him, and, so is that. I would be a hypocrite if I sat here and said I approve of people faking their deaths, doing it, using verbal judo tactics and things like that. But I can understand why. What would drive someone or someone's, plural in this case, to do that, which is the thing that's being overlooked. There was no No, there was no one no one around the, as you call it, community that was screaming bloody murder when Rick was doxing GR8 or Lady Di's entire family, and then doxing the wrong person and address as Glenn Lanebright, which wound up being a retired female, as I recollect it, school principal, who fell victim of being misidentified as a PDF file when Rick Crude said that Glenn Lanebright was a PDF file, which he is not. His last name is not Lanebright. Anyway, it isn't. I have his real name, and I have his real address, and that's not it. But again, there wasn't. So at the time, Lisa B would have been covering, Huckleberry. You'd had a very small crowd hanging around on her channel. She wouldn't have been as well known, like and popular per se, as she is today. Correct. Listen, whoever you are, I'll read out. That is a lot of bullshit. They all do shit on each other. That's exactly what I just said. It's always this game of tit for tat. In tit for tat games, when people do them to each other, they tend to do what? What do they tend to do? Do they simmer down after a while? Or do they tend to escalate and get much worse? I think the latter answer is probably the best choice. Or C, all the above. Always go with C if you don't have the right answer, right? Right. So, anyways, like I say, what this is going to be old news, probably in about a month from now. I predict at some point, some future point, don't know this to be true, GR8 and Lisa B and them are going to encounter each other again on another channel. And it's just, they're going to sit there and kind of duke 'em nukem with each other. And, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll be best friends again. I have no idea. Wish I could predict the future. But it does seem to kind of go that way. People kind of feed off of each other. They do. Negative energy, negative attention. But listen, and I said this. The guy, Keith Anderson, and he knows who he is. I don't know who he is. I don't like I couldn't tell you what his first name or any of that is, and I don't care. I don't know who he is per se. I just know who he is as far as being on YouTube. If that makes sense. I don't know him personally. I've never sat here and shot the shit with him off of YouTube. But I will tell you that I have actually debated with this guy on panel more than once. And I would say he gets angry with me, and then he just drops off the panel at some point. He does fight a little bit, but then am I calling him a chicken shit coward? No. But hey, at least he got up there to take me on. Right? Just like that Ed Ramirez, who apparently thinks it's funny to call people PDF files. I'm not surprised, considering the type of community that guy comes from, known as TC, Tom Cambino, where Blue Eyes and a lot of the rest of these people came from that were the ones calling me that to begin with. But I would say that as far as when he challenged me to email him, which he did do, this is a couple of years ago, I said, sure, game on. And I was pretty clear last night, that would have been ERR's chat there, that, listen, I don't care what you say about me or about it. Ain't nobody gave me your email address, dude. You challenged me to find your email address, and I did. It's that simple. I did used to work for a private investigator. Now, does that mean I was a private investigator? No, I was not. But it means I worked for one. I was employed by one. That's what it means. So I did find his email address, and I sent the guy an email as he requested. Basically called his bluff too. So just like last night when I said, hey, I'm sorry, what is it that you, because he comes from my old side of YouTube. And I said, hey man, what exactly is it you were saying that Lady Di had said about me? I'm sorry, I missed that. Would you care to recount that? And I mean, you're the one who, you're once again, you recently insinuated that I was a PDF file in chat, and you did do that. And his only response was, if it walks like a duck, it clucks like a duck, it is a duck. And I says, okay, I'll take that as a yes. And he didn't respond back after that, of course. So again, I can post that. I got screenshots of all that. But he knows what I said, and he knows what he said. Now, am I putting words in his mouth? I mean, I don't think so, because how would you take that kind of a response? Probably the same way I did. That's basically saying, yeah, you are. You are one. So that guy's a piece of shit in my book. Now, again, all this stuff being talked about now is going to be yesterday's crusty old front page headline tabloid news. Give it this time next month. It's just how it works out here. But I haven't really, I have been pretty silent about that whole GR8 thing up to pretty much this point, because I opted to sit back and study it and gather some facts. Something that guys like Public Occultus, aka Corrosive Commentary, did not do and does not do with me. And not just him, many others. Just like Keith Anderson. When people get on the internet and they start spewing a bunch of false flag bald-faced lies about you, and they don't bother to say, hey, do you have something to substantiate that? Do you have any proof to support that? No, instead they just go along with it. Well, fuck you too. So there it is. There is that. Now, it's always the go-to for, unfortunately, more often than not, is to call people names like that. When basically, if you lose an argument, lose a battle, you got nothing else to go with. It's unfortunate. It's crying wolf. Those words have very less powerful meaning or merit than they did before. But then again, you can trace the roots of this stuff going on way back in AOL chat rooms over 30 years ago. We're just more technologically advanced today. That's all. Than we were then. Still the same, I would say, miserable, rotten people that go around and just decide to, get mad at somebody for whatever reason, and then just start spreading lies on them. And then everybody else is hate bonding or going along with it. So, but yeah, Keith Anderson is this guy who was from outside of YouTube, as I mentioned, and he started thundering away at me over bullshit that Bedtime Clown and this Critical Thinking Cap were saying about me in my community tab. And on his tab, because he doesn't go live anymore, or that I've seen in over a year, stuff that was debunked years ago, and he can't even tell me what year it was. So instead, what he did is he was screaming at me to make videos public that I have that were once upon a time public on my original backup channel, which were left up for over a year. If you didn't get those videos in the year plus that they were on that channel, obviously they weren't that relevant to you then to do so, to grab them. And you're the one that's calling. You're the one that's trying to call me out for shit that again was already disproven a long time ago. That you're bringing back to light again as a gotcha because you got nothing else to go with. When the stuff wasn't relevant to you back then, all of a sudden it is now. Well, if you're the one that, you're the accuser. That means you have to provide the evidence. You're the one who's got to provide the proof, not me. So you don't get to sit there and say, oh, well, you did this and you did that and so-and-so this and so-and-so that and blah, 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 blah. You can say that all you wanna. That's fine. But again, I am the keeper of the keys. I'm the custodian. If you want to call me a custodian now, you sure as hell can. Because I am the custodian of said video content that he wants so badly that was left public for over a fucking year. I even, in that 3-hour stream that went on, I actually cut the 20 or 30 minutes or so when I actually get up on the panel. And apparently that's what he doesn't have. And he wants it so badly. Well, all it's going to do is disprove him. That's all it's going to do. So I'm sorry for you. But again, the accused has to, they're the ones, if you accuse somebody of something, it's not the accused that has to provide the proof. It's the accuser. And here's the other debacle that we get ourselves into. Who is the keeper of the truth? In other words, who is this unbiased said being, this saint of the Lords of YouTube and Discord that are going to be so neutral and unbiased in all of this, non-prejudice against anyone, that's going to look at that stuff, whatever it is, Exhibit A, B, C, or D, or in his case, 0, the big fat goose egg, nada, zilch, do not pass go or collect $500, go straight to jail, not have. So even if we had said person, which doesn't exist out here to begin with, there's nothing there for them to review. Does that make sense, or does that make sense? It should make sense. It should. So anyways, again, Keith Anderson, I keep veering off of him. The reason that I'm so hard at him in my community tab last month, the reason I did this is because I see this guy sitting here screaming at me a bunch of bullshit that's not even true. Shit he got from Rick Crude and Bedtime Clown. Same thing as Critical Thinking Cat, CTC. And then whatever numbers he is, I forget, for his hashtag. His, her, it, whatever they are. We'll just go with it. I don't know if it's a he or she. But whoever they are, make baseless claims off of what other people say. And not show. So, again, when Glenn Lanebright was being bullied severely by Rick Crude and even Salty Rant, but particularly Rick Crude, I didn't see Keith Anderson raise one finger, say one thing about it, against it, saying, wait a minute here. Wait, hold on a second. Back to us up here. He was around then. He saw everything that was going on. He is a he. And that is why I'm so disappointed in him in particular. Because he is, in fact, one of the ones that was around at that time. He saw it all go down. He didn't just hear about it all these years later, like some of you are tonight. He was actually there. And he's not the only one that I could point the finger at and go, hey, wait a minute here. You know, if you would have put even a grain of this amount of energy into kind of defending this guy, or at least not necessarily defending the guy, just simply speaking up and saying, wait a second here, back the bus up. We all know Rick has a history of calling everyone and anyone on this platform a PDF file. This is what he does. He still does this today. But Keith remained eerily and radio silent, just as everybody else did. Everybody else. And the reason they did this is because they feared retaliation and what would happen to them by Rick Crude. Bedtime Clown got blocked off of Lady Diana's channel, and he got blocked off of her channel at one point, and he started screaming at who did it. He blamed me at first for doing it, which didn't make a lot of sense, and then he blamed. No, I think he blamed me for that one. He completely blamed me for that one, as I recollect it. And it actually was two other people. She's the one who blocked him off her channel. I'll tell you that. She's already come forward, already come clean on that. She did do that. But there was two people. That were the ones who were kind of okay. Now it's piecing together to me. So what happened here? The fallout with Bedtime Clown and her was somebody went to her, somebody's actually went to her and said that he was talking shit about her over on Flying Monkey's channel. That's what happened. Now I remember this. See, guys, you gotta bear with me here. We're going back over 3 years ago. All right, this is not new news. All right. So he initially had blamed me for doing that, which is what started all the bullshit with him and myself. Right, BTC? I mean, coming from a guy that his wife, Voodoo Queen, blocked me off his channel. There is that. Anyways, point being is, somebody had gone to her and said that he was talking smack about her meaning Lady Di, on her channel, meaning Flying Monkey. And that's what started it between them two. That I remember. I was there to see it all go down. And actually, him and the rest of them blamed me for doing it. And that's not true. I do know the persons, there was two of them, who did do that. I do know who they are. And I've never told who they are. And him being the asshole that he's been, the asshat to me, and all these lies he's spewing, he'll never know. I'll never tell him. He'll never know. I might have told him if he wasn't such a dick to me on the internet and trying to be a big tough guy here, Mr. Macho Man, spreading all these lies about me. Probably resulted in corrosive commentary kicking me from a server. But my point is this. They jumped to conclusions, and they are the ones who said that I told her that he was talking shit on her on Flying Monkey's channel. That's what happened. In reality, I didn't know a thing about it until he finally brought that to my attention. And that was sometime later. She didn't tell me anything about it, meaning Lady Di. And nobody else did either. I didn't even know the guy was blocked off of her channel. I had no clue. So, hey, there's Truthfinder. What's up, buddy? I knew he was out there somewhere. What do you think about all these real winners in Discord? They act like they're all that in a bag of chips, and they're really quite emotional, aren't they? Yes, they are. It's actually hilarious to sit back and watch the show. They're all into this Wawa guy. So, anyways, I guess they made Wawa the new Abe 2024 and 2026, huh? Or trying to. Except they don't kick him. They don't rage kick him from servers like they were doing to me 2 years ago. So there was that too. Now there's no link here, man. I'm not. This isn't a panel. It's a mobile. It's mobile live. I was going to do a panel on this one, but it wouldn't cooperate with my StreamYards. It won't. My StreamYards and my YouTube are not tying in. So I have to fire my laptop and figure out why. This is my very first live, though, man. Welcome to it. So, anyways, yeah, it was not me that ratted him out. But what I did do is this. Once I figured out what live stream in question that was that he had supposedly been talking ill about her on, saying bad things, I went through the entire live chat replay, and mind you, back then, back in those days, when you had to walk 5 miles through snow, sleet, slush, and slide on the ice to get to school. Back in them days, when you timed somebody out in the chat, their messages, their comments would show again to, I think, just moderators in the chat later. It's not like today, in other words. When you time somebody out, their comments go away and they're gone forever. No. So what I did, even though Mr. BTC there, Bedtime Clown, was trying his damnedest to just wail on me, I actually went and did some homework. And all I did is I found the channel link in question, because her channel was up then, the live chat replay was there. And what I found out was this. Even though this asshat was sitting here, going to town, exploding on me, this dude is a loose cannon, a smoking gun, people. But nevertheless, I am about the truth, which shall set you free. What Bedtime Clown doesn't want you guys to know is this. I went back in that chat replay, and I did not see a single instance where Bedtime Clown had said anything even remotely derogatory about her. Instead, what he did is this. And I hope he catches wind of this. What he did is he grabbed her pinned StreamYard link, and he put it over in her chat, I believe, and then he typed, well, either that, it was either he put the link to her panel, because somebody over there was, I think, Flying Monkey, or they were asking for it or wanting to know. Either he dropped the link, or he just simply posted that she was live. That's what he did. And I did grab that screenshot. I have to dig through a lot of shit to try to find that receipt. And I'm not going to. I'm just simply, this is what really happened, what transpired. So I actually defended this guy in the fact that he didn't say anything ill about her. And this has happened several other times later, going back to the year 2023. So again, I'm just as I was then, I am about now, is the truth. And that is exactly what happened, the big fallout that happened with her, and then what happened with him and myself. That's it. It's all over that. He accused me of basically going back to her and saying that he had said that about her, and I did find out exactly who did do that. Yes, and that person specifically asked me not to rat them out to him, because they were afraid of what he might, he was going to start going live and talking shit on them next, going at them online. That's what really went down. Again, about the truth. Now, talk about the shit show. How did I get on the shit show? What happened there? I have been very, very public. I have spoken to this multiple times. And what the hell, let's just do it one more time. I have never said that I was an OGer, that I was in the fold or in the mix of the shit show or any other channels that surrounded it. Instead, what I said then, as I have said today, is I landed on that channel by proxy. That's how I wound up on that channel. What happened is this. Peachy Rider, there was a sock account of hers. It wasn't hers, it was a sock account made of her. That's what it was. And it was not on the YouTube side, it was on the StreamYard side. And her channel uses what's called a fancy or like a crazy stylish font. Very distinguishable, kind of unique to her. Just like Anarchic Chick or, any other channel that's myself has done that. Lady Di uses that cursive font. Any of that. All right, so what happens is there is a sock account that somebody made of her that came backstage on the live stream, the studio, in the private chat, and said some really nasty, just slanderous things about me. That's what happened. And as inexperienced with streaming as I was at the time, I mistakenly identified that as her. I said that was her. Then somebody sent me a link and said, well, she's over on the shit show now in chat. And if you're looking for her, that's where you go find her. And I'm like, what is it? What is the shit show? I have no idea what this is. Give me a link. And they gave me the link. And I get in the chat and I see her in there and I start calling her out for what I said she did. Okay? It's that simple. Now, AC, known as Authority Check, who's the host of that show, it's his channel, caught wind of what was going on in chat. Now, mind you, at that time, and still happens from time to time, he had a pretty fired up panel going on that particular night. And so he noticed what was going on and said, I don't know what this is all about in the chat, but I don't know who this Honest Abe guy is, but you've obviously got some beef with her. I suggest you get up on the panel and just hash this thing out. Do whatever the hell, come up here and speak your piece. Or pieces. So I did just that. And that is when she came back to me, Peachy Rider did, and she said, I don't have a clue what the hell you're talking about. And I don't appreciate you accusing me of doing that. That's not me. That's not my character. I would never do that. And she provided me with some more evidence that was beyond circumstantial to debunk that being her. Then what happened is I got to eat crow. And I apologized to her for that. And I says, you know something? I feel like a real dick, a real piece of shit right now for doing that to you. I ended up making a community tab on her. I went live and talked about it. I even talked to her on the phone. Did you know that? I talked to Peachy Rider on the phone. And we talked for over an hour about all of this. And other stuff too. But point being is, sorry, no phone boning involved. But I got to learn more about who she is. Her as a person. And again, that was a life's lesson to me about her. That's how I wound up on the shit show. It had nothing to do with the whole Tyrant War fiasco thing. It had nothing to do with anything but that. That is exactly how I wound up on that channel. Once again, as I stated, by proxy. Now, didn't make that mistake again. So, all right, man. Be good. We'll catch you later. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I used to catch holy hell for talking to this guy, known as Truth Finder UK. Anyways, I remember when he first came around the bend, way before anyone on the shit show or around them even knew who he was. So anyways, rest in peace, RBR. No more pizzas for you, I guess. I never sent the man a pizza, but I know that was going on. Right, Truth Finder? All right, so anyways, and who would have known that he would kind of become a part of, you know, that guy's show in a smaller, well, at times a bigger way. Stranger things have happened. What else was I going to talk about? I can't remember. But yes, people love to. Well, the story I just told you about how I wound up on the shit show is 110% true. What I said about Bedtime Clown and the fallout he had with Lady Diana and the fallout he had with me is 110% true. Who would know better than I? I was there. It involves me. There you go. Oh, the other thing there you go. I was going to talk about Blame Katie. That's a whole nother can of worms right there. Katie goes back a ways. She does. Yes, she does. But the only thing I really want to say about her, she's her own worst enemy, number one. Number two, she's very vindictive, like Black Rose is. Only Katie has a large following, a large audience. Black Rose does not. But they're both equally vindictive. And just nasty, nasty people in my view of it. Very disingenuous. Black Rose is so tough that she jumped off of ER Video's panel last night. She did. Hey, what does she care what I'm saying about it? She blocked this channel too. And that's bullshit. I don't buy the fact that someone sent her that I'm already raging in my community tab. Man, bitch, ain't nobody send you nothing. You're watching that shit yourself. Don't give me that. Don't give me this asking for a friend routine. I don't buy it. Her friend Huckleberry used to pull that one quite a bit. Anyways, where are we at here? Did you know that Huckleberry was a moderator on We the People Tyrant Wars? And that what's his name? The Beware Mouse guy used to pop in the chats there once in a while. And she saw him in there. And I know the person who pointed out that was him, but I'm not going to out them. When they did their video premieres and they had that live chat going, and she completely let it slide. And she did not block him or kick him. Now, I do recall. I do got receipts of that. They're still on my commute tab on my original channel. It's still there. Go find it. I got a video of it. Thanks to somebody else, another unlikely suspect. But that channel did go live. They didn't go live. They did video premieres, and then there was a live chat. And it was exclusive to members only. And then the whole story of why Tyrant Wars stopped locking their chats down to approved users only is because of me. Did you guys know that? It's actually true. So what happened is this. One night they had a video premiere scheduled, and they forgot to put it for members only. And for some reason, they used to air these videos late at night, like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, even at times. And so they left the chat wide open, and then I was able to freely make comments in there. I got screenshots of all that. They saw that. They saw that someone in there saw my comments, and they blocked me off of that channel. I'm the very first person who, an outsider from their group, to make a comment in their channel. And as far as I can tell, to this day, I am the only one that's ever been blocked from their channel ever. How do you like them Snapples, biatches? That is true. But anyways, back to Blame Katie. I tried to warn a lot of people about this bitch. A lot of people. And nobody would listen. People found out about Bird when he turned on everybody else, when he turned on all them. That did happen. I had a chance to run into Bird in the now abandoned Vegas Valley Discord server. This is just like a week ago. And there's Joey up there on the Vegas Valley YouTube channel, his YouTube channel. He's live, and he's bashing the living daylights out of Bird and Steph. 2 peas in a pod. I just posted a receipt from 2024 when ASMR is rooting or chanting. He's making a comment about Bird's channel, kind of like going, "Hey man, you know." He was talking to this guy Shizzle, not to be confused with Nizzle. This guy Shizzle, who's I think he's around my age, lives out west, I guess. Like a lot of those guys do from that particular community, if you want that little community or sector or group, whatever you want to call them, doing their own thing. But so yeah, there's ASMR making a comment about Bird's channel, and that was in the old Tonic and Sales channel. Somebody asked me about where that came from earlier on. Yesterday, and that's where that came from. That's where they came from. ASMR was kind of like hounding his channel and trying to like overtake the show. And as I recollect it, the guy Ben Tonic and Sales kind of got fed up with that because he was trying to do his own, show with his own flow, and there's ASMR coming up there to kind of like completely run over it and kind of derail the show and make it about whatever the hell he's doing. But I remember that. But and that's not the only. He did that to Lisa B too. Same thing that guy did. I knew that guy when he started first coming around, because he turned on me, and I didn't do a thing to him. If there's one thing, and one thing only, that Mr. Corrosive Commentary, aka Public Occultist, the retired full-time Discord junkie, and don't get me wrong, he's not the only one, would agree on, is fuck no more ASMR. Fuck no to that. ASMR had turned on me, and he was trying to sabotage my server by telling everybody to abandon shit because my server was going to go down within 48 hours, and he was hanging out over on the old Poly Crispy server, which later became the LG server. So that's what happened there. I guarantee he's still around. Steph's keeping him in her cellar in a cryogenic chamber, so he's got about 1,000 years to thaw out at this point. Like Walt Disney, all the rumors about him. So anyways, that did happen. I think if I was to guesstimate how many people did abandon ship on my server when that went down, probably in the range of about 60 or 70. And that's no lie. About 60 or 70 people vacated my server because he put that comment. He was saying that in her server. He did do that. Yes, he did. And so that's when everybody ultimately up and left. And most of the people that were left over on my server were just backup or sock accounts of people's main channels, many of which are still there to this day. I did put a lot of time and effort into rebuilding that server. And I did gain a lot of people either back or new people in it. We set some ground rules, me and the mod team there on that server. And the way we did it, we agreed on, it was a kind of a collaborative effort, was to enable there to be a moderator on my server who comes from at least 1 or 2 people, preferably 2, in some cases 3 or 4, 5 or 6, from each type of community or sector. So, for example, we would have moderators of shit show people from the shit show, guaranteed to be moderators. We have people from the at that time what we call the leftover Vegas Valley crew. Those people, some of them would be warranted mod status. We had people from some of the true crime stuff. Some are still in there today. We would moderate them. As much as shit as she talks about me, there's a certain, let's just say, butterfly out there that was one of them. So there is that. So there was, if I was to mix them all together, there was people from the RDA kind of community that were in there. There was a few what we considered masshole report, or Kate, her side, that were made moderators. She was even in my server at one point herself. We had all kinds of people. There was people that I would call the tonic and sales, because he kind of considers his own community that he built up himself. Would pick people, including him, to be a moderator, so that you've got all these different moderators from different sectors, different communities, that can moderate the server, and it doesn't become a monopoly. In other words, we're not just going to exclusively give mod wrenches to only certain individuals, from one community, and then not others. Homie don't play that. I don't play those kind of dirty, rotten, fucked up, foul tricks. I just don't. So even the Joey Waffles, there was people from his side that were hanging with him, or Quick Vic, or whatever. Any of those, anyone who kind of lingered in one particular community, or a mix of all of them together, which I would say, for better or for worse, is more of the case today, even just a couple of years ago, would be made moderators. And that's a good key point. That's a good thing to do for any server out there that's like that. I forgot to mention Boit. There was some Boit people in my server. They were made mods too. So you see about 6 or 7 different communities we identified, we as meaning me and the mod team, that we would give moderator status to. And it worked. That server survived a lot of shit. At one point, I was about ready to pull the switch on it. But it did prevail. It did prevail. It has survived. And today it lives on as a mecca in itself. I guess. I love talking about this kind of stuff, by the way. I do. Can't you tell? I sure can. I can. Anyways, I'm gonna go to the 2-hour mark, and that's gonna be all she wrote. But I did go live on my new channel. I was surprised anyone showed up at all, but I do appreciate you coming. Shout out to the replay crew. I'll post a link to this on my main tab. I will. And that. But I've been around a while. I know the name of the game. I know how people fly. I know how they roll. I know how they hover. I know how they swim. I'm not new to any of this stuff. This shit is nothing new to me. It's a lot of manufactured drama and select rage. I've been having fun exploring different communities that I knew of, that I'm kind of getting reunited or reacquainted with. And let me just go ahead and put those all in my community tab, so that all of my the Abe nayers or haters can jump all over that one. Totally. Anyways, As far as like Black Rose 2843 goes, or people like her, man, they're really quite emotionally involved in this, aren't they? Emotional damage. But yeah, I would again. I don't consider myself a pro victim. I just simply call it for what it is. I call people out for their effery. Yes, I do. When I can, where I can. I don't always have the time because I work a lot of hours. I do. So that's just the way it is, man. That's how it goes. That's how I roll. I wouldn't say I don't say go with the flow, because I do not go with the flow or the status quo. Fuck the status quo. The court of public opinion. I say burn it down. Burn it down. But yeah, I am a very independent person and streamer, and a lot of people just simply don't like that, and that's tough shit for them. That's tough nuggets. So don't know. But I had fun with that. I'm gonna make me another short or two. I got at least one more I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do at least one more. Pertaining to a certain character persona online. Just one. And just for fun. You know, my video shorts that I do are just there for fun. They're okay. So yeah, it is used for like receipts to say, yeah, okay, you did say this. I'm just highlighting this for everyone to be able to see it, rather than try to go back into a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 15-hour stream to try to fork it out of there. But there it is. I mean, you know, this was said. Is it possible things got taken out of context? Sure, but I mean, it's funny, some of the things these people say that I get to clip. But yes. But I would say that confirmation bias is probably the best way I could describe it all, as a complete paradox on this very platform. I absolutely do, and I that would apply to literally anyone and everyone that's out there. I'm man enough. I'm big enough to admit that yes, I am prejudiced against certain people out here. Sure, I am. You bet. And at times I have to, whenever certain key topics are being talked about, I have to reevaluate myself and try to put my own feelings towards that person or those people aside to try to dissect and get to the truth. To even begin to analyze it, if that's what I'm, for either fun as hobby or just generally interested. But again, I love it when people sit there and say, "Oh, there's Abe," to throw himself in the mix and interject him. All about Abe. It's YouTube. It's about you. It's about me. It's about us. It's about them. Bitch, what are you doing out here? You are interjecting yourself in other people's bullshit. That's exactly what you're doing. Don't lie. If I'm lying, I'm dying. God hit me with lightning twice. Not once, but twice. So, never ceases to amuse me when people do that, when people say that. I just kind of shake my head and cringe. It's like, yo, we haven't heard that one before. Boy, that's a new one. You got me there, buddy. No, you didn't. In fact, you stole that from somebody else. You stole it from somebody else. It's like stole it from somebody else. It's like a picture. It's a picture and a picture and a picture and a picture and a picture of a picture. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit, that's exactly how I would describe it. But yes, there are people out here. And again, the big buzzword when I first came around here was narcissist, and people misuse that all the time. A narcissist is a very rare camaraderie. You know, versus you might, if you just want to throw on a limb and say this person has Napoleon syndrome, or if that doesn't apply to them, they have superiority complex. But yeah, there's people, the overall people that have actually been like diagnosed or classified and classified as being that is like less than 1% of the world's population. So if that be true of literally everybody on here, then we would scientifically conclude that all the narcissists on the planet all congregate in a small little sector of YouTube. And that just doesn't make logical sense. Not to me anyway. It just don't. So, but yes, people love to just spread shit, repeat shit. They don't vet shit. And they just smear it all over it's like a smear campaign. And nobody authenticates anything. I remember that Biff Thundermuffin guy and myself, and him and I going at it. And this guy trying everything, every which way he could. And everybody knew that he was chock full of shit. And the things that he said about me. Saying, wow, this is proof that you doxed this guy, Hebrew Hammer Operator, because, well, you know, Queen Wasp took a blurry picture of it on her channel, and Bedtime Clown went ahead and blocked it, but didn't bother to click the link to the channel it went back to. There you go, 10-4, good buddy. Of course, we excuse the fact that, number one, Hebrew Hammer Operators put all of his information out there multiple times even before that. He accidentally doxed himself by leaving his camera on as he was driving home. And then Flying Monkey clipped it before he made it private and put it up on a video on our channel. That did happen. That was a Rick and her thing. As much as she defended that guy, and that's if there's nothing else I would agree with her daughter-in-law on. She used to go by Midwest Mom of Two. Now she's like TN, or like I assume like Tennessee Mom of Two. That's my assumption what TN means. It might not, but probably does. Is this her mother-in-law, Flying Monkey, did in fact defend and go to bat for him, meaning Rick Crude, umpteen zillion times. And even when I'm sure she knew a lot of it was wrong or inaccurate, she did back him quite a bit. Only to have him turn around later and go on Lisa's panel, for instance. It's not the first time he had done that, mind you. But to go up on her panel and then use her picture like Black Rose does with GR8 or Lady Di, myself, or who the fuck ever, shows her level of maturity, let me tell you. Sort of lacking thereof. When obviously she's triggered or over somebody. Or trying to chase clout, or both, or like and both. But yes, Flying Monkey she actually defended Rick Crude at the point that her friendship with what's his name, Salty Rant, fell apart, and I was live the night that happened. That's when Truthfinder UK came on my channel, and then Lou did too. He got up in my chat. And started talking, like, what the fudgesicles is going on here? I'm trying to do a live, and you guys are all coming to my channel talking about shit going on her channel. It was a Friday night. It was one of her Friday night fuckeries. One of her live panels. And so she defended Rick Crude up to the point where, yes, she did kick Lou, a.k.a. Salty Rant, to the curb. His backup channel has his full legal name on it, by the way. And he says his name umpteen zillion times on his live streams. Tyrant Wars even tried to say, oh, there's a doxing Salty Rant. Bullfucking shit. You know better because you guys have been covering him since day one, since you first started. And replayed his content where he starts out with his full legal name. He hides nothing about it or where he lives. City and state. So... but my point is Flying Monkey defended him up to the point where she picked Rick over him, and that is true. So there's Rick, again blasting Flying Monkey's cam slip or whatever, her up on camera, showing a picture of that as his avatar, and talking all kinds of mad, fucked up, foul shit about her. He did do that. Oh, we crossed the 2-hour threshold. Cool beans. So yes, he did do that, and I even saw her, as in the mother of two, Midwest mom of two, which is her daughter-in-law, in the chat saying, hey, what a way to bash my mom. What a way to bash Flying Monkey, who used to go to bat for you. So, and the funny thing is, I never saw her use her dedicated Abe channel, which I guess is that one. Talk about living rent-free anyway, to go at him at all. Not at all. It's not one community tab, not nothing. So I went ahead and fixed the glitch, and I took a screenshot of him using her mom-in-law's avatar, put it up on my community tab, but naturally not before courteously blurring out her Flying Monkey's picture of her face, her whole head, on the avatar that he was using on Lisa B's channel for over an hour. It's still on my community tab to this day, and I blurred it out. It's blurred. You can't see it. But that would be him on that panel doing that. What a piece of shit, Rick. Come on. You know better than that. No, actually, he does know better than that, but he just does it anyway. So, the whole Huckleberry thing, Bedtime Clown was like, oh yeah, you went after attacked Huckleberry and them, and then she turned on and doxed you. That's not how that went down. But you go ahead and try to rewrite history and flip the script on that one too. I do remember though her getting mad at you and doxing you, BTC, which is supposedly your name, which you deny, which I've never repeated out here, but yeah, that did happen. She said some real nasty stuff about him. And yes, I do have clips of it. I've given them to him. So anyways, isn't that interesting? But if you want to go back and talk about history, you want to go back 2, 3, 4 years ago, well, there's some of it right there. It goes on and on and on and on and on. I had Paul N. Fullerton in my chat. Last time I went live on my other channel was yesterday morning. And he would go to bat, and that, yes, it's true. These people were so hell-bent on trying to get one up on me, trying to out me and smear my name, slander me across the entire sovereignty of the states, that they were using anyone they could find, anything they could find, any kind of dirt they could find on anyone with my same or similar name, and putting that out on YouTube as me. They're saying, there he is, that's him, that's Abe. There's your receipt. That's what they were doing, including Bedtime Clown. Yes, they were. And that is complete desperation. Aside when they were in Hebrew's original server, talking shit about me for 24 hours a day, 24/7. I still, and to my dying day, will never get over that. To me, it's just it's crazy. It's alluring. It's just utterly chaotic. Complete madness that you would psycho obsess over one person, that you would just sit there and talk shit about them relentlessly in every single VC, in every single comment in that server. And for months that went on. For months. Isn't that crazy? And these people were doing it as soon as I got kicked out of that server is when they started really doing it, I guess. Or so I've been told by the server owner himself. Which would be Abraham or operator. Right? Yeah, it would. It absolutely would. So this went on when I'll never forget this. The guy from Australia known as the Music Brad. Him and his adult son used to go live and stream. And when I first landed on that guy's channel, how the whole flock of Abe nayers followed suit. And Brad was eating that right up. He was. But yeah, he invited all them people in the server. Huckleberry jumped on over. Black Rose 21843 jumped over. I'm sorry, gotta get this right. Huckleberry 3224 jumped over. Black Rose 2843. Ed Ramirez was called, that was his channel name back then, or Big Ed. That piece of shit. Let's see who else did. Bedtime Clown. Oh yeah. Totally. I seen ER over there. All these people, all of them. Flying Monkey, yep, she jumped over there. Just all these people. When they caught wind that I was on that channel, even the first time, they all jumped over. And the one thing I'll never forget about that guy's channel is this: he decided to do this great debate between me and them. And I have it downloaded on my other hard drive on my server. I have to go grab it. But I downloaded the entire thing. And Brad gave all of us each 3 minutes to go back and forth. 3 minutes to respond, or 5 minutes to respond or something, or 3 minutes to have a turn. And then he would give you like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes or something like that to respond. And he put it on a timer for everybody. Not like on Flying Monkeys back in the day where she would let everyone else, run their mouth and say whatever they wanted to say as long as they wanted to say it, but only put a timer on me, which is why I never agreed to those terms and never did it. Why would I be fooled? I'd be a fool to do that. Because then they'd sit there and talk for, a half hour at a time, and the whole live stream would be over by the time it even got to my turn. That's exactly what they were intending to do. And they never got a chance to do it. Darn. Missed it by that much. But yeah, the Brads, I'll never forget that. And I knocked every one of these mofos down like bowling pins, including old Bedtime Clown there. Every one of them. All the bullshit that they were throwing at me, I typically just responded saying to them, okay, well, let's see some proof of that. All this fucked up foul shit y'all are saying about me, let's see some proof to back any of that up. Anything at all. I will yield the rest of my time, which would be like, I would talk for like a minute, or even like 60, just about a minute, even 40 seconds. And I'll say, you can have my remaining 2 minutes and 43 seconds or whatever the hell it was, and I'm going to give those to you because I want to make sure you have ample time to bring up those said receipts that you don't have and present them on this panel for everyone today. How does that sound to you? And actually, not a single one of them did. Not a one of them. There was like three or four people that came up and tried so hard to take a swing at me, and I came out smelling like a rose in that one. It's just like when I was in ER videos a couple years ago, when a lot of this stuff really started kicking off, and I got up on his panel, and they couldn't pull a Huckleberry or a Black Rose on me and then just throw me in the basement. That Hillbilly man did the same goddamn thing. Sorry, God. Hit me with lightning again, please. But you know what I mean. Did the same thing. Yes, they did. God is my witness. Yes, they did. They would mute me, kick me backstage, block me, time me out. All the above. All of the above. Yes, they did. So, and yet Black Rose had the audacity to get on Lisa or ER's last night and say that I used to do that shit to her. She was saying Lady Di and Abe did that to me. They did that to me. I don't know if she did that to you or not. I don't recollect her ever doing that to you. What I remember is her letting you get up on her panel and say whatever the fuck you wanted to, Black Rose. That's what I remember. I remember seeing, unless you saw it different than I did. She didn't block you from her chat. I specifically remember, if we go back in time, when her and her were kind of bunting heads, specifically asking Lady Diana not to block her and to let her get up on her panels, just like I did on COVID's. Same thing. When there was all this other shit going on, and Black Rose wanted to get in there and defend and just say her piece. She wanted to defend her good name. I'm the only one that sat there and said, "Hey, this isn't really fair, guys. You're not really giving her a fair shake. Why don't you let her? She's got something she wants to get off of her chest. Why don't you just go ahead and let her do it?" And even though they didn't do it, I was the only one who spoke up on her behalf. She didn't ask me to, but I just did it. So, anyways, like I said, she added this channel to her block list. She got it off of my channel. Nobody, as far as I'm concerned, directed her to it on my channel. She watches my channel profusively. She absolutely does. But that bitch has some nerve to sit there and say that. She does. Lisa B. I never said I was one of her. I never said I was her first mod. What I said is I was one of her earliest mods. In other words, there were other mods already established before me. That's what I said. And I do remember her first going live. I do. But point being is Lisa B, the first time she pulled my wrench, the very first time she pulled my wrench is when Rick Crude was going at the very women that Black Rose made sure I was not allowed to talk to, you see, at that time. And that would have been Virgo Triad and Kimball's. Both of them, see? Yes, she did. But what happened is Rick Crude made a death threat against Virgo Triad on the panel. He did do that. And so I went ahead and timed his ass out. This is before there was the 24-hour timeout things. You hit him, it was 5 minutes, it was 300 seconds, 5 minutes. That's all you got. Either that or you block him off the channel. Well, I didn't block him off her channel, but I did time him out. And because I timed him out, Lisa pulled my wrench. She pulled my wrench because I didn't think it was too keen to have him on there going at making death threats against her. I don't care what you think about her or what you don't think about her. I don't care what she's done or not done in her past. I just deemed it a rather inappropriate, God forbid, to use her chat as a weapon to threaten Virgo Triad on that panel. That's exactly what happened. So that was the very first time Lisa pulled my wrench. And she said that I blocked him off her channel because Rick Crude made a video saying I blocked him off her channel, which I did not do. That did not happen. So, that being said, the truth shall set you free. Shan't it, yes it shall. So, if anybody can call anybody a liar, I'm going to call Black Rose 21843 a liar for all the shit she said about me last night that was wrong. And she knew it was wrong, too. She knew it. I never once blocked her off of my channel. Never messed with her microphone settings. Never ran over her on my panel. And I can prove it. I have the panels that she jumped on when she jumped on them. And was able to completely, if I make those public again, you people will see the complete opposite of what she claimed to be last night. If what's her name, Lady Di, would make the panels public, The stream's public. I don't know that she will or not. But if she ever does, when Black Rose was getting up on her panel, you'll see the complete opposite of what was going on them panels. Black Rose was able to get up there and say whatever it is she wanted, and completely free of any interference, obstruction from me. Now, there is one or two of them panels, however, that I got up on and went and gnawed on her a little bit. Yes, but she was still able to easily speak freely, with minimal interruption from me. And that was me sitting there, letting her talk, letting her run her mouth for about 5 or 6, 8, 10 minutes straight, not making a single point in our foreseeable future, and finally saying, fuck it, I've been waiting for 10 minutes to say one thing, and now my patience is up. I'm just going to say it. So if you consider that running over or, depriving her of her rights, quote unquote, or her ability to speak, Bedtime Clown's the one that was doing that shit with me. He would run his mouth, spread lies, and then every time I get on there to take him on with anyone, he would crank his mic gain all the way up to like super max, his studio mic, and just blast over me. And if he wasn't doing that, he was playing his annoying ass soundboard over the top of me to again try to prevent me from getting one word in edgewise. Seems to me who's got something to hide, right? Right. Anyways, the one thing I'm glad that people have seen the light with some of these bitches, like particularly _ᵉᵇᵃ. And Black Rose was hate bonding with her and Peaches too. Peaches too, evil ghosts, old lady. The one who blocks everybody from her channel. Everybody, next to everybody she don't like. Don't have an opposing viewpoint on her channel, God forbid. So last night, again, before I do end this thing, is this. Shit. Something good to say about. Okay, so again, not that I have to have a valid reason to get on a fucking YouTube stream, which I don't. When I got on ER's panel, I guess the Chihuahuas and the Mutts and the Wiener Dogs on that channel marked their little fire hydrant. That wasn't really a stab at Earl, but just saying, the audacity of Abe to come on this panel where he's not welcomed. Well, you can fuck right off with that. That'll just drive me to get up on the panel even more when you say that to me. But no, I got on that panel to ask Black Rose a very specific. Well, the two things. There's two things to that. There's two parts to that. Number one, I wanted to call her out for all of her bullshit she said about me being a rogue host, a creator, a streamer, and kicking her and blocking her and timing her ass out. That never happened. Not what that did happen, however, her with me. That did happen, yes. And the other thing with her, what was the other thing? Shit, that was one. I'm getting tired here, guys. You can tell. Can't you tell? Oh, I am. Oh, man. But no, it was that. And, oh, yes. The other thing I wanted to ask her, which is when she dropped down, she left the panel on her own accord, was I was going to ask her, having added this channel to her everlasting gobstopper Abe block list, was this. Which, it's like counting jelly what What's the Abe Blocklist account ticker up to now? Are we at? Do we hit the 100 mark yet, or we surpassed it? And all of these douchebag, dotardic degenerates out here, they tried to use that one up on me, saying, "Oh, there's proof. Abe is stalking." Rada was one of the first to jump at that. He did that on Angel NFL Life's channel, right on the panel, after he accused me of being a PDF file, without saying it by citing what Blue Eyes 4303 had said about me on Polly Crispies back in December of 24. Yeah, that. So yes, you would say for all practical purposes he did say that. But no, I asked her specifically what's the number count at for Abe accounts that you've grabbed and added to your block list. And naturally, she didn't answer that. She did not. She was not about to answer that question. not one bit. But what she does is when she finds an account of mine, she'll add it to her block list. That's what this bitch does. Again, her calling me a liar all these years now that I've seen her come around the bend. Well, guess what, bitch? It's your time to shine. It's your time to shine. Everything I heard you say about me last night alone is enough for me to call you a fucking liar. And then some. So I'm more than willing and more than happy. If there's enough interested parties, I will gladly make some of those old live streams public, where she is on the panel, and some of these other people that talk shit about me relentlessly still do, because they got nothing else in common with each other than me. Same thing like with Terrytopia, who's now trying to get Sam Hill's attention, Sam Hill American, but it's not working out in his favor too well. But nevertheless, chasing clout off of people like our tales. Yes, there is that. But now that people have figured out what a lot of these people are really about, presumably, if you haven't, well, that's a you problem, not mine. May God have mercy on your digital souls. Yeah, abso-freaking-lutely. The moronic plague has struck again. Whatever are we to do? Whatever are we going to do? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to end this live stream. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to watch a movie. And then I'm going to get some shit done. So I did go live on this channel for the first time. I probably won't be using this channel anytime soon to go live on. I'm going to be on the main channel instead. But I did tell y'all I was going to go live here. And I did. Here I am. Hi. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, people. Broadcasting from his mother's basement, which is what Salty Rant is the guy who coined that. And copycatters like Bedtime Clown and the rest of them, Black Rose, all Rada, the rest of them picked up on and used. Because they have nothing original, nothing authentic to staple to their name, is reporting from Studio C, from his mother's basement, at WMOM Studios, live, coming your way right now. It's Honest Abe 2.0. Okay, so anyways, you catch my drift. Okay, I will post a link to this on my main channel for those that want to go back and watch it. God help you. Do it to it, man. It's all you. It's all you. I enjoyed this live stream. It was a smaller one, but that's okay. Not a lot of people know this channel exists. Some of you got wrenches for the very first time ever. in my chat. ER Videos was my very first commenter on this channel ever. Darlene Maggie is number 2. Number 3 is Freeside. Number 4 is Demon Glitter 81. And I think that's Prime's sock account, which got hit for spamming the chat. Do be kind and true. And I almost forgot Bite Size News UK, aka Truthfinder UK. All right. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. This is Honest Abe. See you later, my friends. Bye.